Want to make better video lessons for your students? In today's video, I'm going over 7 easy and quick ways where you can create better videos that are more engaging for your students. These are pre-recorded videos, not live ones, just to clarify. So let's get started. Hey there, this is Erica from Ever Educating, and this channel is all about teaching tips for college instructors. And today I'm talking about creating better videos. And the first tip in this case is showing, not telling. And so you hear this all the time when you're talking about creative writing, but it also works for video recording as well. So doing this talking face thing works to a certain degree, but you also want to show your students examples of what you're talking about as well, rather than only having you speak in this way. So I can be here and I can say, all right, in order to do an MLA properly formatted paper, the first thing you do is have a header where it's your last name and the page number on the top right of your page, right? And so you can explain the whole process of formatting it, but can students really follow along? Wouldn't it be better to show them how to do this?
I have here, on the top of my modules page, all the resources that I've made, either videos or Google Docs or slides, whatever the case may be. And so I created a small video that goes over how to format the paper exactly like I explained it in class. And so in this case, they can watch this video and it's literally step by step how to add the header, how to add the proper heading, how to make it double spaced, how to do a hanging indent, and so on and so forth. So rather than telling your students something in your video, actually show them. Do a screen recording, have the camera facing your hands if you're doing something by hand, instead of just telling them what they should be learning.
If you're not doing a screen recording though, you want to make sure that your video is as stable as possible so it's not hard for students to watch. And so if you're using your computer camera, obviously it should be very easy to keep it stable. But if you're using it on the desk and you just have your laptop on there, it can be an angle that's not the most flattering, right? And so I do recommend raising it up so you can use, for example, a portable signing desk like the one that I show here, to make it higher up so it's a better angle, really directly to you, or even potentially a bit from above. And if you don't have this kind of signing desk, another option is using your phone, right? And so I have this tripod that was really inexpensive that I got on Amazon, and I have my phone on there. And I actually have, if you notice, the phone screen is facing me, so it's easy to make sure that I'm on, at the right angle, that I haven't done something weird, that nothing has gone wrong. You have better quality when it's the back-facing camera rather than the front-facing camera, but I don't think that's going to make a huge difference. And to me, it's better to know that you're staying on the screen and nothing's going wrong, so you don't record tons of information and then realize halfway through that you didn't press record, right? Or the recording stopped because you got a text message or something like that. So find ways of stabilizing whatever camera you're using when you're doing this kind of face-to-face telling. Changing it up when you're recording videos is also a great way to keep students more engaged. And so you might have, this background, but then you might move to another place in your house that also has a clear, unclear background. Or you might move to a couch and have a close-up, right? When you're really emphasizing a point.
Or it can be shifting from you on the screen to your screen recording.
And then come back when necessary and do more face-to-face talking. Another way of changing it up is to have overlays on your video. And so I have a whole video how to do this using Keynote or Google Slides that I'll link below. But basically here is, behind me is a really blank wall because I can now put overlays of words or images next to me, my face, either side, and students can easily read it with the really, one colored background that they're seeing behind me. If your video gets lengthy or you just have a large process or long process that you're working on, you might want to fast forward or cut the video in order to make sure that students don't get bored while watching.
So for example, you can start writing this paragraph, drafting it live in the usual speed, the real speed, but then soon after, go ahead and speed it up to be much faster so that students aren't waiting here for 5 minutes, 10 minutes for you to finish doing this draft before you go back and start explaining how you got your ideas, the flow of the paragraph, or whatever it is you're explaining to your students. So here is 20 times the speed, and at the very end, I go ahead and go back up to the top and do my explanation. So students can stay engaged because they know this is going to be a very short part of the video. You can also just cut it rather than doing the fast forward. So going from no paragraph to a full paragraph is another approach. It's even shorter. But I think it could be nice to kind of have this fast forward effect to show students, your writing. And then as you can see here, I now go back up to the top of this paragraph and discuss it with my students.
A really simple way of making better videos is to have better thumbnails so that your students can easily find what they're looking for by searching for a specific thumbnail in connection to that video.
So on this page where I have all my professor rated resources, the first one actually has no thumbnail. I used one that came with a video because it actually shows Canvas, right? And it shows the video of the first week of my overview video. So I wanted students to see immediately, okay, Canvas is being covered in this particular video. But then in my other ones, I have, a very easy, simple Canva created thumbnail. I have a link to that below where it's very self-explanatory. This video covers a rhetorical triangle, this video covers chat, this one covers MLA and the library databases, and so on and so forth. When you see here, each week has its own overview video that are very, very short. And so that has the same thumbnail. All that changes is the number of the week. So again, my Canvas page is very aesthetically symmetric in this particular way, and students immediately see this and say, oh, I know what that is. That's an overview video, right? Oh, I know what that background means. It's a mini lesson. And you do want to have mini lessons as much as possible. So this is another tip, where as you can see here, I had a lecture where I recorded on the same day. I did this 2-part lecture on the rhetorical triangle and then also on cultural historical activity theory. But as you notice, the rhetorical triangle was actually quite a long lecture. It was 15 minutes. That's way more than I would have liked, but it was necessary. It was, week 2. I wanted to make sure everybody had that foundational concept for a class. So rather than have one video for both concepts, I divided it into 2. So they only need 16 minutes for this first one. They only need 7 minutes for this next one. They only need 8 minutes for this next one. So you do want to make sure that your videos aren't too long. You don't have a 30-minute lecture or explanation of a concept, because it's going to be very hard to keep them engaged for that long of a period of time. And so you have the other tips to help you with engagement, but a key one is to create a series of videos rather than a super long video. And super long can just be 20 minutes, which you think is really short, but that's not actually the case in concerns to video watching.
If you have your own tips for making better video lessons, please do let me know in the comments below so we can all learn from your own experience. If you found these videos helpful, do click like below and let me know. And subscribe if you haven't yet, if you don't want to miss out on any future teaching tips or online teaching or hybrid teaching tips. I do have plenty of videos below that you might find helpful, as well as links to the portable desk and the tripod that I mentioned in this video, as well as the mic that I use in order to make sure that when I'm using my phone, the audio is really clear.